Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to unpack exactly why Nuxt is rapidly becoming the absolute necessary evolution for your growing Vue applications. Now, if you've been working in the Vue ecosystem for a while, you already know how incredibly powerful and flexible it is, right? But as your projects start to really scale up, you might be noticing some friction. So today, we're going to look at exactly how Nuxt steps in as a complete framework layer to just completely eliminate that friction.
Let's kick things off with a really relatable question. Have you ever shipped a Vue app that felt absolutely blazingly fast on your local machine, but then it totally struggled once it hit production? If you've ever dealt with slow first loads on a mobile network, totally inconsistent SEO results, messy build pipelines, or that dreaded complex routing sprawl after deploying a single-page application, you are definitely not alone. You've simply hit the edge of what a standard SPA can comfortably do out of the box.
Here is our agenda for today, to see how Nuxt solves these pains. We've got 1. Hitting the SPA wall. 2. Framework, not just library. 3. The power of SSR. 4. SSG and hybrid rendering. 5. The invisible performance wins. And 6. The developer experience payoff. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. Hitting the SPA wall.
You know the feeling. A basic Vue SPA feels incredibly fast when you're building it locally. But the production environment, well, that's a whole different story. You often end up with a painfully slow time to content where your users are just staring at a blank screen. Then you've got these frustrating SEO workarounds because crawlers are struggling to actually parse your JavaScript. Oh, and your router configuration has probably sprawled into this massive, unmaintainable mess.
This naturally leads to a really common question from the developer community. Do I actually need Nuxt for every single Vue project I build? Like, is it always the default answer?
The short answer? Honestly, no. If you're just building a small internal tool or maybe a highly interactive app hidden behind a login screen where SEO literally doesn't matter, a client-rendered SPA is totally fine. But as soon as performance, consistent SEO, and architectural conventions become absolutely non-negotiable for your product's success, that's exactly when Nuxt becomes incredibly valuable.
Moving to Section 2. Framework, not just library.
Vanilla Vue is brilliant, but it's intentionally unopinionated at the application level. It gives you this amazing component model, but it doesn't dictate how you structure your pages or fetch your data. And you know, that freedom is great at first, but as a project scales, it causes some serious decision fatigue. Every team ends up inventing their own, often pretty fragile patterns. Nuxt completely fills that gap. It provides a cohesive, convention-based architecture. So instead of stitching together routing and build optimizations yourself, Nuxt just gives you production-grade defaults. The whole app wiring becomes standardized.
Section 3. The power of SSR.
To really grasp why server-side rendering is so powerful, we first have to look at the traditional SPA flow. In client-side rendering, the browser has to do all the heavy lifting. First, it downloads the JavaScript, then it runs your app, then it fetches the API data, and only after all of that does it actually render the page. For your users on mobile networks or older devices, this basically translates to staring at a loading spinner for what feels like an eternity.
Now, Nuxt completely flips this script. With Nuxt SSR, the server renders that initial HTML. This means step 1 for the user is seeing meaningful content instantly. No more blank screens. After that fully formed HTML arrives, the app then hydrates on the client in the background to become fully interactive. It's like you're getting the speed of a static page with the rich interactivity of an SPA. And Nuxt makes this super approachable because it treats SSR as a first-class citizen, completely handling those complex hydration boundaries for you.
But let's pause for just a second here. You're probably wondering, is turning on SSR some kind of magic bullet? Is it going to automatically fix all my performance issues overnight?
Well, the reality is a little bit more nuanced than that. SSR dramatically improves that crucial first pane and pretty much eliminates blank page time. However, true speed still requires discipline. Your overall performance is still totally dependent on your JavaScript payload size, your backend API latency, and how well you're caching things. The real beauty of Nuxt isn't that it does all this by magic, but rather that it gives you the specific tooling and patterns to optimize all these areas effectively.
And beyond just pure speed, SSR gives you massive SEO and user experience benefits. Crucially, it delivers fully rendered HTML to search engine crawlers immediately. This completely eliminates those risky, well, it depends conversations with your marketing team about whether Google is actually executing your JavaScript properly.
It also fixes those incredibly frustrating UX edge cases, like flashes of empty content or weird UI inconsistencies, because the page just arrives in a complete, ready state.
All right, Section 4, SSG and hybrid rendering.
So if SSR is all about rendering on demand, static site generation, or SSG, is all about rendering ahead of time. Nuxt can actually pre-render your routes into static HTML during the build process itself. This is incredibly fast, it's highly cost-efficient, and it's practically immune to traffic spikes because you are literally just serving static files from a CDN. So while SSR is absolutely perfect for dynamic, personalized dashboards, SSG is practically unbeatable for content-heavy blogs, docs, or landing pages.
And here is the real kicker. You don't have to choose just one. Nuxt allows for hybrid rendering. This means within the exact same application, you can serve a statically generated marketing page, an SSR-powered authenticated dashboard, and a purely client-rendered admin panel. It gives you the ultimate flexibility to match how real-world products actually evolve over time.
Section 5. The invisible performance wins.
Nuxt is literally packed with these invisible wins that just keep your app fast without you even having to think about it. Take convention-driven routing, for example. Your files map cleanly to URLs, which creates natural code splitting. Your users only load the JavaScript they actually need for the specific page they're looking at. Then there's intelligent data fetching. Nuxt fetches what's needed on the server, renders it, and then securely passes that exact data to the client during hydration. This completely avoids wasteful duplicate network calls, or what we call double fetching. Plus, you get structured, page-level control over all your SEO tags right out of the box.
Section 6. The developer experience payoff.
I absolutely love this quote from the source material. Nuxt reduces the distance between idea and shipped feature. Think about it. When a framework provides clear, reliable conventions for how to create a page or fetch server-ready data, developers spend way less time in meetings, arguing about architecture. Instead, they get to spend their time actually implementing product behavior and shipping value. By completely eliminating common friction points, like wiring up routes and managing dev versus production environment differences, Nuxt essentially turns expensive plumbing issues into fully solved problems. It de-risks your technical decisions by giving you battle-tested patterns. And because it relies so heavily on convention, onboarding new developers is incredibly fast. You get to replace that fragile tribal knowledge hidden within your team with a shared, industry-standard vocabulary.
Today, users and stakeholders expect applications to load instantly, rank perfectly on Google, and iterate in days, not weeks. Nuxt is exactly how Vue applications rise up to meet those modern demands. So I'll leave you with this final thought. As your code base grows and those performance metrics become totally non-negotiable, are you going to keep configuring the plumbing, or are you ready to start shipping with Nuxt?